The morning show here on Arise News. Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Efeni. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Ruben.
Good morning.
Good morning, Adesuwa.
Good morning.
Yes, my friend Rufai is under the weather. He will be fine, but the show must go on. Yes, let's start with these days newspapers. Nigeria's newspaper of record. Ruben, I have to remind you. Yes.
Don't worry, I know where you are coming from.
Okay. Now, the lead story of this day. Conclude criminal cases in 1 year. Buhari urges Judiciary. Now, other newspapers are reporting this story, which is from the President's speech to the 60th annual conference of the Nigerian Bar Association. Now, the Daily Sun has similar story. Buhari to Judiciary. Criminal cases must not last more than 12 months. Decries slow pace of justice administration. The Daily Trust reporting also from the conference. Buhari seeks conclusion of criminal cases in 12 months. Less than 2,000 judges for 155,757 pending cases. We can meet President's expectations. Lawyers. Now, the New Telegraph, Buhari laments slow pace of justice system, seeks reform, proposes 12-month limit for criminal civil cases. Chief Justice of Nigeria, we won't tolerate court processes abuse. While, of course, another subject in the front page of the newspapers today in Nigeria, security. Now, the Nigerian Pilot newspaper, Security Alert, Are Ona Kakanfo raises alarm, says terrorists in Southwest, says they've entered Niger State and Okiogun in Oyo State, reveals that 500 power bikes, bandits, arms cited. One Southwest resident to get gun licenses for protection. Yes, the licensing of gun debate still on there. Now, the Vanguard newspaper, Southwest governors, others tackle federal government on regional security outfits. We won't subsume Amotekun under community policing. Southwest governors. Presidency shouldn't be misled. OPC. Governors should sue federal government, Yoruba Council of Elders. You can't subsume a solution under failure, says Efeni. Federal government wants to cause constitutional crisis. Ayo Adebanjo, Amotekun won't be under federal control, says Governor Makinde. States can't sponsor federal government programs. Ohanes Ndigbo, senior advocates of Nigeria, disagree with federal government. Now, the Punch newspaper has another story altogether. Federal government 774,000 unskilled, 20,000 naira job. 4 PhD, 200 master's holders apply. Senate tackles Keyamo again on slots. Kanu gets 44,000, Benue 23,000, Lagos 20,000, Enugu 17,000. Don't blackmail us with slots. Senate warns Minister of State for Labor. Yes, senators saying that they have not asked for slots. So Minister of State for Labor, Keyamo, should not be going around saying he has allocated slots to them. The Guardian newspaper, private varsities thrive on smart school hub, Google. ASU dismisses online learning as a ruse. Local hub owners say multiple taxation made them ineffective. I thought ASU should be gravitating towards online learning, but they seem to be enjoying their strike that has lasted for months, not caring about their students, while private universities, some of them have since concluded their program through online studies. Now, the Daily Independent newspaper, Buhari approves electricity tariff hike, demands 1-year limit for criminal civil trials. Now, President Buhari has given the nod to the implementation of the tariff hike, cost-effective tariff hike as it is called, effective September 1. But he has also said that meters will be provided for consumers, giving that waiver for importation of meters. I think consumers should implement the subsisting court judgment. No meter, you hold your payment. I think that should be tried for consumers who don't have meter effective September 1. But Ruben, let's come to the front page of This Day Again. President Buhari and the slow pace of criminal justice in Nigeria. The justice system, slow, very slow. The wheel of justice in Nigeria seems to be turning surely, but very slowly. The instances given by President Buhari about his 3 failed attempts to be president, still very much in the mind of the president, and how he had to wait for a long time, but when he won, because of reform, amendments to the Constitution they were shorter, that is 6 months was the deadline to conclude cases. If it can be done for election petitions, it should be done for criminal cases, civil cases. And I think you cannot fault the president on this. Stakeholders in the judiciary must work towards that. And I am totally on the side of the president. Fine submission pointedly made at the appropriate quarters. Ruben and Adesua.
Well, you know, like I asked earlier, should we blame the judiciary entirely for all of this? And I think that lots of people will say no. Because when you look at these reforms, who drives the reforms? What reforms are we talking about? Why do we have this piled up cases? It's because of the infrastructural deficits we have. It's because of how we're still practicing. It's because of, you know, how the system has been run. It's manual. How many judges do we have to attend to these cases? Who appoints the judges? The executive. Who funds the judiciary? The executive. So I think that we should not play to the gallery with all of this.
But
the executive does have a role to play in this.
Ruben, we don't have shortage of persons to be appointed as judges.
Yes, I mean, that's...
So why the delay? And why are we not equipping the courts appropriately?
Well, the appointment of judges is one of the issues raised in the president's presentation through the vice president. What he referred to as the opaque process of appointing the judges. And he was recommending that the appointment of judges should be merit-based, that we should look further afield. We shouldn't be restricted to persons that are on the bench. In some other jurisdictions, judges are even appointed from the classroom. And the president was making the recommendation that, you know, persons to be appointed as judges must also write exams so that they can be appropriately, examined. But, you know, there's also this issue about how too much power is concentrated in the National Judicial Council. And persons saying, look, there's also a need for a reform of the National Judicial Council. And state governments have been saying, look, at the state level, it should be possible to appoint judges without any recourse to a unitary format that is used at this moment for the appointment of judges. Judges, of course, are expected to be above reproach in every manner possible. So, good point there, as I said earlier. Then secondly, the point about technicalities, the resort to technicalities. I'm sure what is bringing this up is the concern of Nigerians about how the Supreme Court at a point began to engage in mathematics, arithmetics, you know, without, the skills of Lord Denning, particularly in the Imo State case. But I said, again, procedures are important. The courts are not going to violate procedures. About delay, yes, there's a lot that the executive needs to do to fast-track justice, because justice delayed is justice denied. But at the same time, lawyers also have a role to play, and judges need to take firm charge of their courts, as I said earlier, so that you don't allow frivolous applications that just extend the cases unnecessarily. Well, we don't have much time, so we'll see you tomorrow morning. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. That's all on News Headlines.